Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of November 15, 2024. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an Infantry Officer. Extensive military actions. The Russian armed forces carried out numerous strikes targeting Ukraine's military-industrial infrastructure, including energy facilities, military airfields, missile production workshops, and storage sites for unmanned aerial vehicles and ammunition. These attacks were aimed at degrading Ukraine's military capabilities.
Welcome to Frontline Updates podcast, your trusted source for understanding the latest in global military operations. Today, we are joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer leading troops on the ground during ongoing operations. Colonel, thank you for being here to share insights on the progress of the special military operation.
Thank you. Glad to be here to discuss the latest updates.
Colonel, let's start with an overview. What has been the focus of the special military operation over the past week, specifically from November 9th to 15?
Over the past week, our operations have concentrated on precision strikes and neutralizing critical infrastructure used by the Ukrainian armed forces. Using high-precision weapons and attack UAVs, we targeted energy facilities supporting military-industrial enterprises, workshops for missile production, UAV assembly and storage sites, and arsenals. These actions are part of our strategy to degrade Ukraine's military capabilities and logistics networks.
Can you break down the military actions by region? Let's start with the Kursk region.
In the Kursk region, our North Group of forces effectively repelled incursions by the Ukrainian armed forces. We inflicted significant losses on their formations, including multiple mechanized and airborne assault brigades. Over the week, the enemy lost over 2,760 servicemen, numerous tanks, including Western Supply Challenger and Leopard tanks, and dozens of field artillery pieces.
Were there any advancements in this region?
Yes, through coordinated operations, we pushed back enemy forces and inflicted damage on their manpower and equipment. Additionally, our operational tactical aviation and missile forces conducted strikes in Sumy, targeting reserves and logistical hubs.
Moving to Kharkiv and Donetsk, what were the major achievements there?
In Kharkiv, our forces defeated Ukrainian mechanized, motorized infantry, and territorial defense brigades. We repelled 17 counterattacks, resulting in over 3,435 enemy casualties and the destruction of tanks, armored vehicles, and artillery pieces. In Donetsk, the center and east groups liberated settlements, including Voznesenka and Rivne. These advances were accompanied by the defeat of several brigades, including Ukraine's assault and National Guard units. Over the week, more than 3,235 Ukrainian servicemen were neutralized in this sector.
Colonel, you mentioned repelling counterattacks. How significant was the resistance from Ukrainian forces this week?
Resistance remains robust, with Ukrainian forces launching coordinated counterattacks across various fronts. However, through tactical superiority and effective use of combined arms, airstrikes, artillery, and infantry, we successfully repelled 65 counterattacks in Donetsk alone. The enemy's losses were significant, both in manpower and equipment.
Let's discuss technology. How important were UAVs and air defense systems in this week's operations?
UAVs played a critical role in reconnaissance and strikes. Our air defense systems were equally vital, successfully intercepting 10 French-made Hammer guided bombs, 24 U.S.-made HIMARS rockets, and 449 enemy drones. These efforts minimized damage to our positions and highlighted the effectiveness of our integrated defense systems.
Can you provide an overall summary of the Ukrainian armed forces' losses during this period?
Over the week, Ukrainian forces suffered substantial losses, more than 32,680 servicemen across all fronts. Destruction of 213 tanks, including advanced Western models. Over 1,100 armored combat vehicles, 944 vehicles, and 283 artillery pieces. We also neutralized HIMARS and MLRS systems supplied by NATO allies. These numbers reflect the scale of the operation and the degradation of the enemy's offensive capabilities.
What is the strategic objective moving forward? How do you assess the current situation?
Our objective remains the neutralization of military threats and the stabilization of regions under our control. We continue to focus on degrading the enemy's operational capacity while securing strategic positions. Our forces are well prepared to adapt to any shifts in the operational landscape.
What is the situation at the Oskol River, Kupiansk section of the front?
In the Kolesnikovka area, assault operations by units of the 1st Tank Army continue. Over the past 24 hours, we have captured several more enemy strongholds in the Green Zone. There is still a lot of work to do, but the initiative is definitely ours. There are some captured guys. The situation is complicated by the fact that the Ukrainian armed forces positions on the other bank of the Oskol are located on a hill, from where it is convenient to pound our forces with everything. The enemy tried to counterattack a couple of times, unsuccessfully. The northern outskirts of Kolesnikovka are a conditionally gray zone. The main battles are taking place in the nearby forest belts.
So you are storming Kupiansk now?
Judging by fragmentary information, the fighting is slowly shifting to the Kupiansk industrial zone, on the territory of which there are several large factories. The area of the industrial zone is much larger than in Volchansk or Bakhmut, almost 500 hectares, so they will probably not clear it entirely at the first stage, and now it is more of a gray zone than a territory under the control of one of the parties. The result of the raid deep into Kupiansk will depend on how many reserves the Ukrainian armed forces are ready to burn in order to stop the onslaught of the Russian armed forces in this area. As we said earlier, even the interim results are still far away. For the Ukrainian armed forces, the loss of this area will actually mean the beginning of a full-fledged siege of the city, and, as a consequence, its further loss. So the Ukrainian armed forces will fight for this area to the last, probably even at the cost of losing some other areas.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's crucial to communicate these developments transparently. According to the Health Ministry in Gaza, at least 28 Palestinians have been killed and 120 injured in the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, Israel's military has issued several evacuation orders for the southern suburbs of Beirut, which have been followed by devastating airstrikes in the Goberi and Burj al-Barajna neighborhoods.